Alright, what is up? This is Ishbu again. I'm going to be releasing the first. This is going to be the first of one of my two videos I'm going to be using to example the practice of gating. Now, I kind of wanted two, but specifically, this is probably the hardest positioning of any that I'm going to be demonstrating in these guides. And it's really unintuitive and really hard to get, but it is super, super rewarding if you can do it properly. Um, so first of all, credit where it's due. This is actually an idea I got while watching a lot of the Korean tanks, specifically Sign and Noblesse. But as a whole, the region really likes to use this technique, and it is super nice on laning phases on a lot of map. It's super nice when you have a super confident ranged player, and as you can see, this is a Masters Hero League on Haunted Mine, and we actually had the Cassia here with the Tassadar, so the Cassia is going to be doing a lot of stepping up. And the basic idea is this. So walling is presenting a closed wall, right? I should be here in between the enemy team and my team. But what if instead of a wall you presented you considered it more as a gate? So a gate can be both open and closed, has two separate positioning. So the idea here, and you're going to see it put into practice a lot, is honestly, I'll play a little bit. As you're going to see right here, we're going to be in a 4v3, which is why I'm going to be a little more aggressive than I normally would. Right now I'm looking for Genji. I'll speed this up a little bit. But I'm just going to look for a flip on this Muradin, and I'm going to be stepping up a lot here. And you're going to notice when I step up just into this wave, like, the Vala, I don't have much threat on the Vala, so I'm just going to lose, like, I just lost basically half my health for free just stepping up. And this is basically the trigger for me knowing, hey, I need to really be doing something different. I don't need to be walling for this team. If I do, they're going to do a bunch of damage to me, and my team can't really outrange them or put pressure on them. So instead, basically what I'm going to let happen is Cassia is going to become the de facto frontliner with Tassadar shield, Lily support, and just her general natural tankiness. Cassia is honestly going to be a better frontliner than me on Diablo right here. And that's a little, it might sound a lot weird, like a little weird to you guys, but you'll see it actually pay off in practice once I start, once I start actually showing some of this clip. So some of you might be asking, where does that make you as the tank? If you're not going to be in front of your carry, where are you going to stand? And the idea is you're going to stand off to the side. So I'll let the play go a little bit. I'm still looking for Genji here. And this is basically where I want to be standing. Notice, Cassia is the frontmost member of the team. I'm off to the side, and my idea here is I'm going to be basically using my Cassia as bait. I'm presenting an open gate or an open door right here, saying Muradin, Genji, Vala, you guys go at my Cassia. You guys can do whatever you want. I think she can out-trade you by herself, and if you guys overcommit to try and get any kill, I'm going to come in and I'm going to close this gate behind you. I'm going to shut the gate, and then you're going to be stuck in here with my team, overextended. I haven't taken any free damage getting into this. Meanwhile, you took all the free damage to get to walk into this. So as you're going to see, Muradin's going to threat on this Cassia, and I'm going to look for this wall stun against this wall right here. So right here, you can already see the plan in action. Like, I'm now about to try and shut the door behind this Muradin. I'm going to Q him, and I'm going to flip him here, and then we're all going to be able to focus him. Meanwhile, the enemy team can really only focus me. So right here, this actually would have been a lot better had this Lucio does a really nice play and he boops my overpower. But still, you can already just see the effectiveness of this. Muradin's Q was the entire engage was just negated, and he took 2/3 of his health in doing so. So he's going to be forced to retreat. And now I'm going to, I think I tap, no, I don't tap first. I'm going to sit here. I kind of have a little bit of a derp here. Genji goes in, and I really wasn't expecting this. I should have just instant Q'd him when he did this, to, like, once again, to push him farther back, but I mess up. I kind of derp my skills here, and I end up getting chunked. So this is also going to answer another question a lot of you are probably having. If you were off to the side, either here or in this case on the bottom half of the map, I can use this Fog of War to maintain mount. What happens if the enemy team just runs at you instead? They ignore your Cassia that's standing out here being the bait, and they just run at you. And the basic idea is twofold. One, if they're doing that, your Cassia should be able to just walk up and kick their butts. And two, you just want to literally back off. Just make them overextend to do anything to you. And this is why Tyrael, Muradin, and ETC tend to be some of the best heroes at this, because they have so much mobility and are so hard to pin down that if you ever try to just hard commit to them on the sides of the lane, they're just going to back off. So here, the enemy team's going to commit to me a bit, and I'm just going to try and back off. I try to go for a cheeky little play on Muradin there. It doesn't end up working. Lucio's on top of his boots. Either way, I'm going to tap, and I'm going to resume my position. So I actually want to hold the bot side rather than the top side now, because the lane is more even, and I want the Fog of War. And you're going to see this Fog of War lets me do something really cheeky right here. So notice, I'm still mounted. I don't have to dismount because the enemy team doesn't have vision. And because I'm still mounted, I'm able to literally run up to Lucio and land a raw overpower on the Lucio. This is actually a really nice feature of gating, which was basically this Lucio overextended. Genji wasn't here, so it was a 4v3, so I could be a little bit farther out than usual, but I was still mounted. The enemy teams, everyone here is just unmounted, just shooting each other. I'm still mounted off to the side, and I can just look for plays on anyone I want because I've got that extra move speed. So this is just a really nice little feature from playing Fog of War and playing the sides of the lane like this. So we're going to keep this going. Genji comes back, making it a 4v4 because Lucio got chunked. And once again, you're going to see me take a side position. Actually, well, first of all, you're going to see me check for Genji again. And I'm going to take a side position. As you notice, once again, Cassia, frontliner. She's basically the tank in this composition. And that's hilarious, but so true. So I'm just looking to punish anyone that's looking to threaten her. This Genji is going to get a little too close to me, and I'm going to get a flip. Don't get the wall stun, unfortunately. Either way, you're going to notice we're still winning the heck out of these flips. Cassia starts to get low, but notice, enemy overextends, and this is exactly the positioning we want to be in. I'm behind the enemies that are trying to get on this, and I can keep them here. So you're going to notice we're going to be able to get a kill on Genji, who's overextended, and then I'm going to be able to follow up kill on Lucio, who stays too far from next to you, and our Cassia lands a really nice Q here to finish it. So that's the base concept. As I said, walling, you're presenting a solid wall. You're not letting anyone pass, or maybe one or two people pass. Gating, you're presenting an open gate. You're basically inviting the enemy team to try and get past you. And the second they start to move past that line, the second they overextend, you're closing the gate behind them and just leaving them to the mercy of your team. So this was one of the two examples. Hopefully the other one's going to be with Tyrael, who doesn't even have hard CC. But it's going to be a quick example, and you're going to be able to see a bit of what I mean with that. Alright, so this is the part 2, the Tyrael video, as I said in the last video. So here, once again, going to be Masters Hero League, and once again going to be Haunted Mines. As you notice, this strategy is usually best on any maps with laning phases. You know, Dragonshire, Braxis, Haunted Mines, anytime where you have to do these prolonged laning phases. But it's also really nice for sieging or counter-sieging as well. So I can probably explain that a bit better in the writing underneath. But for right now, you're going to see another scenario, level 1 fight, laning phase. We have a little bit of an awkward setup. We have this melee-heavy setup. So our team really can't contest them. They have their increased range, and the Stukov laning just means that the enemy team is going to be a lot more threatening to us early game if we just try to step up to this lane normally. Like, we're just going to take a ton of free damage if me and Arthas just walk up and try to clear the lane normally. So what we're going to do is, my team is going to be super laid back. They're going to sit here, and I'm going to play Fog of War around this area. So this does two things. One, if the enemy team gets greedy and tries to overextend for kills, trying to push their luck in what they think is a 4v3, because I'm out of sight, I can then collapse and I can kill whoever overextends by just slowing and body blocking. The other thing is, because I'm playing up here, this Tassadar also is going to have to play a lot safer than he normally would. Because if I'm not seen here, I could be here, but I could also be up here. Like, if the enemy team doesn't see me, and especially the longer it goes, they ain't got no idea where I'm going to be. So I'm just going to be playing up around here. So last time I played here, and it was a little more obvious, and that was mostly just because I couldn't really threaten roams on the other side. But here, I'm a lot more free to, especially because Tyrael is much more mobile. So as you're going to see, I'm going to be playing this area. I'm an incredibly mobile hero, so I can be a little bit farther away. So as I said, my team's just going to try and do some safe wave clearing. And what you're going to notice is the Diablo starts walking up trying to punish my team on this because it's a 4v3. And right here, you can just feel the phase. So look at the positioning right now. The Diablo walked in, flipped the Arthas, and both of them took, frankly, about even damage. That being said, Arthas, because he was farther back, was able to walk away. Meanwhile, Diablo, I'm now behind him, preventing him from escaping. We got the Arthas route, and we're going to have my slow from Might of Eldrauan, as well as my body blocks. So, while technically we traded even just hitting tanks against each other, just because our frontliner came from the side. I came in, I took no free damage getting here. Meanwhile, their Diablo to force this play had to run straight at our team, took like half his health just getting able to make this play. So what you're going to see is the person that they damaged is now in a safe place. Meanwhile, Diablo's in an incredibly unsafe place because because as I said on the last video, I'm basically shutting the gate behind him. So I'm just going to body block him to his death here. Spread to avoid giving chain bombs because friends don't give friends chain bombs. Like, don't be that guy. It's not cool. And once again, I'm just going to use this opportunity to go get the vision up here, and I'm going to cap this, and I'm going to resume my position of basically holding here. So, once again, the main reason I wanted to show this clip as well is, one, because it's a little bit different. We didn't have the Tassadar comp, we didn't have the Tas Vala or anything, Tas Cassie or anything like that. But, so, it wasn't like another one of my teammates was playing tank, rather my team was just being laid back and waiting for the enemy team to overextend while they just safe wave clear. And two, I played Fog of War this time. Instead of playing here and looking for picks on the personal lane phase, I played topside here. And once again, as I said, that means I can now threaten both sides. Now, as you can see right here, Malthal's kicking this Tassadar's butt, which is a little weird, but I don't know, it happened. Either way, the rest of this landing phase doesn't go nearly as neatly, which is why I'm just going to stop here. We end up having an overextension of our own. But I hope this helped be kind of an intro to explain what I meant by gating, because it is a really unintuitive concept to basically be the tank but not be at the front of your team. But I think you'll find that a lot of the time it really is the most ideal situation, and that stepping forward, like, once again, if I was to be stepping here or whatnot, I would have significantly less threat on this KT or this Vala than they would have on me, and they'd just be able to do free damage. So standing to the side, I take no free damage, and yet I still can pose any threat if they ever, if this Vala ever tries to vault onto this KT, or if the Diablo, as you saw, if the Diablo tries to come in onto my team, I'm just here and I can just, as I said, close the gate behind him. Worth mentioning, this does require a team that will not die to that initial engage. Like, if your team overextends, the point is moot. That being said, I mean, at some points you are going to have to trust your team to play the tank role correctly. It is unfortunately a very supportive role, and there are very few tanks that are just pure damage. Like, you're not a damage carry here. You do need some help from your team. At the same time, though, if you can figure out to do this right, this is probably the most optimal tank position to be holding during laning phases, and it is something I heavily recommend all tanks that want to play tank at a higher level start adding to the game.